from making unique electromechanic toys during his early years to transformation into an iconic inventor and innovators of our time. Africa has received a gift of a relentless man who is willing to provide electromechanic solutions to numerous challenges for not only Africans, but also the world at large. Filled with a series of rejections to enroll in the field of electrical engineering at a prestigious university in Kenya, Peter Mbiria's struggles after getting an average score in his terminal and National Kenya Certificate of Secondary examinations didn't stop his dream of becoming an iconic inventor and innovator of our time. Drawing his passion of being an electromechanic engineer from his dad, who also used to fix electronic gadgets and also bring materials home to work on projects for the sake of hobby, Peter wanted to take on further what his dad had started. However, this wasn't going to be an easy path. From now creating electromechanic devices like Econ wheelchair that stands on 4 legs, Crystal Quad 3D printer among others, to a new device that, if taken seriously, could redefine the way the automobile industry should rethink about old cars in relation to new ones. Peter Mbiria is sensational, but also a one who has squeezed himself to greatness. For a bright student like Peter Mbiria, the path to college or university seemed brighter as during his early years in primary school, he made masterclass basic electromechanic toys that were continuously stolen by stubborn kids at school. His primary school teachers, after observing what Peter was creating concerning electromechanics, with no doubt they had already seen a future electromechanic engineer in the making if taken seriously. His junior years had ended, and it was time to take on a new path of his studies. However, this new path was the start of Peter Mbiria's struggles with academics, besides all the genius he had proved to possess within him. Due to a rigid curriculum for most of Africa's secondary or senior schools that create subjects overload, Peter Mbiria found a difficult time of balancing his passion of electromechanics with other subjects. Things started going wrong when he registered an average score in his terminal and National Kenya Certificate of Secondary examination, KCSE, of the year 2009. But this is understandable. Studying a wide range of subjects in Kenyan secondary schools can lead to several disadvantages, including increased stress and workload, difficulty in achieving in-depth knowledge, and a potential neglect of practical skills and real-life applications. Maybe for a determined practical young man like Peter Mbiria, among others, are silently being tortured with a curriculum mainly prioritizing theoretical knowledge over practical skills and real-world applications. Receiving an average score meant that Peter was to be left out from the list of students who were ready to join the university in the field of engineering. Peter Mbiria was so determined to join the university to study engineering, but his grades betrayed him. The young man didn't sit and relax. He thought what to do about this at first. It was time to leave his hometown of Thika, located in Kiambu County, to Nairobi in search of admission into a university for enrollment in the field of electromechanics. With this period filled with covering long distances, Peter's dream of becoming an electromechanic engineer felt far from reach as he was totally rejected while being advised to repeat secondary school to obtain the required grades to be able for enrollment into his desired field. With nothing to do about it, he accepted to repeat secondary school in order to realize his dream of becoming an electromechanic engineer. With this time performing better, Peter failed again to attain the desired grades in order to enter the university. While he improved in his second KCSE attempt, in the year 2010, the grade he got was still not eligible for direct admission to the university, especially for his course of choice, electrical engineering. Thoughts started to flow in Peter's mind on what to do next. While feeling rejected, shocked even, and also distressed, Peter decided to put matters into his hands. He decided to come up with numerous strategies that could forge a path for him in order to be accepted into the university. While studying in senior school, Peter had continued enhancing his electromechanic skills and ideas thanks to the basic engineering knowledge he was obtaining over those years. From that knowledge, Peter had already managed to come up with initial projects. Peter resorted to putting hope in his developments, from which he thought that maybe they could act as catalysts to the grades he had attained in senior school for enrollment into the university. Peter immediately grabbed his bicycle and started his journey of reaching out to whoever seemed important for his strategies. His first strategy was to reach out to figures that seemed to have a direct way for him to be pardoned by the university, more especially due to the fact that he had already developed projects. His mind went straight to the area member of parliament, twice a week for 6 straight weeks while carrying his project on a bicycle. Peter was trying to reach out to the MP, only to get backlash as the MP couldn't have a direct route for Peter to be admitted to the university. His MP advised him to first secure himself admission to the university, after which the MP would help with payment of university fees. A frustrated Peter decided to never go back to the same place that he had been visiting painfully. Disappointed with the Member of Parliament, Peter Mbiria decided to go back to his former senior school that time, not to repeat school, but to receive help from his former high school principal, who was a mechanical engineer who had changed career to teaching. After a long wait of the whole day, Peter never managed to talk to the principal, a thing that amplified his frustration. After all that period of long cycling that even saw his project become disorganized, Peter decided to look for new and fresh strategies. Peter went back to his humble home and sat quietly in his simple workshop that could later become a revolutionary space of electromechanics. For a young Peter, whom during the same period when the popular movie of Transformers had taken the movie world by storm, he couldn't fail to be excited and simultaneously create something in realization of the movie. By then, he had managed to come up with an electric convertible truck. After all the failed strategies, Peter Mbiria, as I said earlier, wanted to now show the whole Kenya what Kenyan institutions had slept on him. Prepared with his convertible truck project, Peter decided to take his work to a largest local media house then. Guess what? Things just turned worse, as the editor of the media house wished not to meet a seemingly poor standard technician with just secondary school science knowledge. What a disappointment. A frustrated Peter packed his project and wished not to return again to that place. What had been left then for a young and frustrated aspiring Tony Stark? Remember, Peter Mbiria's goal was to enter the university. At first, it was presenting grades. That saw his early series of rejection due to average scores. This time round, Peter decided to present project rather than grades, a thing that could later change his life from frustration to transformation. When he took his work to a university reputed for science and technology based in Kiambu County, even though he didn't get what he wished. The academic registrar, after examining his project, advised him to try the National Polytechnic. Excited about his project, Dr. Winston Ojengi, an electrical and electronics engineering lecturer from the Technical University of Kenya, took him directly to the dean and introduced Peter to him. Delighted by Peter's project, the dean didn't hesitate to give the aspiring innovator and inventor a long-awaited chance to enter into college. This was a sigh of relief for Peter, who had spent some good years finding a way to elevate his academics. Now that Peter Mbiria had been given an instant admission to study a diploma in electrical and electronics engineering, instrumentation and control, he had received the exact course he needed for better understanding of how to design electromechanic circuits and devices. From then, he started to represent his college in innovation contests. Peter started to feel a new atmosphere of innovators in Nairobi, throughout Kenya, and so on. During his studies, he had a friend who found it difficult to climb stairs in storied buildings. Peter came up with an idea of saving his friend by wishing to build a wheelchair that would ascend storied buildings with ease. Peter wanted to design it to ascend the staircase with the rider on it comfortably seated. However, some good work had to be done more than that Peter had planned. He found himself in need of a 3D printer that could be instrumental in realizing the prototype of the intended wheelchair. This led to additional project to the wheelchair because it was difficult to attain the desired printer within and from outside Kenya. Peter needed assistance, mainly financial, a thing that prompted him to enter again into contests to achieve a platform for his projects. He managed to make it to the finals of the Africa Prize Royal Academy of Engineering contest in 2016. The finalists received a chance of attending a pitch at St. James's Palace in London. Things turned better for Peter. From this royal place, he managed to get a chat with Prince Andrew. That chat opened new doors for Peter, a turning point from his early struggles to get a platform for his ideas. Prince Andrew paved a way for Peter to be invited to Oxford University, courtesy of the Royal Academy of Engineering Symposium. What was left for Peter is receiving financial assistance for his ideas. Peter met with Dr. Timothy from Aston University. Together, the two applied for a grant under 3D printing. After successfully receiving it, Peter used his share of the grant to ensure the design and manufacture of the long-awaited Crystal Quad 3D printer that would later be instrumental in his numerous engineering ideas. He needed this kind of printer as it would later be used to carry out 3D printing, particularly with multilateral capabilities to transform electronic design by enabling the creation of complex, integrated circuits and devices in a single process. It would also ensure the quick creation of prototypes, enabling him to test multiple design iterations rapidly and inexpensively. Then, that engineer Peter had had a significant starting point and had simultaneously graduated from college in 2018. He decided to take on a new challenge. Peter decided to boldly start his own company from scratch. Going by the name Voltarant Engineering Limited, he has managed to come up with a number of devices that are significantly adding value to the technological world. With a list of products that he has innovated and manufactured, such as water level monitoring device, that a user is able to tell the amount of water in the reservoirs remotely from anywhere on Earth, either via a web app or smartphone, to an anti-burglar system that is used to report and interrupt any unauthorized access to private property. Peter has managed to come up with a new device that could take the automotive industry of old cars to a new revolution, with a belief that old cars shouldn't be thrown away. A 35-year-old Peter Mbiria is breathing new life into aging cars by replacing their outdated carburetor systems with cutting-edge fuel injection technology. By designing and developing a revolutionary standalone engine control unit known as the Voltarant ECU, the device is able to change the performance and efficiency of older cars. As Peter's innovations are drawn from his own life experiences, the Voltarant ECU device came due to the fact that Peter himself was at blink of throwing away his old car that was hard to find spare for. By balancing power and economy, Peter declares that whether it is a classic car, a vintage beauty, or a performance-oriented machine that relies on a carburetor, the Voltarant ECU provides efficiency and reliability. Now that new cars are no longer reliant on carburetors to mix fuel and air for spark ignition engines due to environmental concerns, Peter's innovation is driving older vehicles toward greener future. This is done by introducing precise fuel control and combustion optimization. It maximizes fuel efficiency, reducing overall consumption and minimizing harmful emissions.